Howdy, Paul. All right, got your work up here. Just looking through your writing. There's a little bit of a misinterpretation of what is required, and I'll go through this because this is really an important week too, because we're kind of setting the foundation for uh, this project. We move quickly into user testing next week, so it's really important that we get all elements in place during week two. I end up exploring three of my favorite pet peeves when it comes to mobile interfaces. Now, I read through this, and to me, you have a really good understanding of the reason behind um, design thinking and user prototyping. And having pet peeves is a great first step in that understanding. I've got pet peeves too. We all do. Just open the App Store any day of any week, start looking at some apps, and you'll see exactly what I mean. How many times have you downloaded an app and gone through it and gone, God, it just doesn't make any sense? That is what we're after. We want to eliminate that possibility. So to do research by looking at apps and deciding what works and what doesn't work, it's just a fantastic place to start. So great job there. This is important and very relevant. I've long had the impression they try to handle too much information through limited form factors. And that is definitely true. As a matter of fact, that's got a term that's called feature creep. And what that means is think of a television remote, for example. Remember old television remotes had 80, 90, 100 buttons on them? And we would all look at it and go, what? Now, finally, they're starting to be redesigned and to a more minimal design. Feature creep basically states that engineers will put any kind of feature on because adding features is a lot less expensive than developing. You know, if you've got 30 features, adding another one is cost effective, but it doesn't mean that it's effective in terms of human-centered design. So the example, of course, of the TV remote is a perfect example. If we look at the design of TV remotes now, they have three. Think of the Apple um, remote. I mean, it's got two, maybe three buttons on it, four maybe, not 100 for sure, right? So that's a great example there. All right, so good job here, and you brush your wife into it. This is exactly. I loved reading that because that's what we want to do. We want to bring as many people and ideas and opinions into the process as possible. So great job. All right, let's go and take a look now. The problem is that we're missing a lot here. Right now, you've gone and you haven't limited it down to your final solution, which you should, because we need to incorporate mind. I'm sorry. We need to incorporate. We need to develop and incorporate personas and scenarios, storyboards, prototypes, and wireframes. So you need to pick one of these three that you want to move forward with. I'm perfectly fine with any one. All of your writing here makes great sense. So any one of these would be perfectly viable as far as moving forward. Okay, so you want to decide, and then what you want to do is jump over here. And this is welcome to week two. This is what is required for this week. Okay, so you have your research. You're going to select the problem that you're tackling, right? Then you're going to identify the target audience, three main functions of the app, and then the competition, pros and cons as well. And don't forget to take a look at those examples. The treehouse example, that one is in the class, and then also in the course announcement over here. Week two assignment examples. There's some great examples there that show all of these things in really nice detail. I'll go over that in 1 second. But anyways, we need personas and scenarios. I recommend 3 personas and 3 scenarios to represent those personas. Then we need wireframe sketches of all screens. We need a storyboard of the scenarios. And like I said, I recommend 3 and 3. And then create paper prototypes and photograph for you. Let me show you some examples here. So this is a great example. Here's what personas are, and let me show you a better example of personas. This thing is just here's a great example of personas. So we got 3 personas. All 3 are really different in terms of demographics. So then we have the personas, and then we have the scenarios, and each scenario is represented by a storyboard. Okay, so here's the scenario. The scenario, you would write up the scenario. So, okay, this is scenario A, and then this, you'll depict it in the storyboard. And here's a great job of scenarios. This one with the storyboard shows the scenario, the problem depicted through the scenario storyboard without the app, and then how the problem is solved with the app. Okay, so there are two-part storyboards there. I recommend that. I think it's a great approach. Okay, and then we need our paper prototypes. We need wireframe sketches of all of the screens. Okay, that's really, really important. And wireframes don't have to be this detailed. Let me show you. Wireframes can look like, and I'm just in the treehouse example here, but wireframes can look like this. Just basic skeletal structures of what the screens look like. Then we need paper prototypes. So basically you take the wireframes, you fill in all the information, and that's your paper prototype. The paper prototypes are used for testing. So as we can see right here, here's the paper prototype. So you've got the kind of mock-up of the cell phone, and then the screens would be in there. So you would replace these screens during your user testing, right? So you would ask the test subject, okay, where would you click to log in? They would press, and if they get it right, you would change the screen to the login screen and say, okay, where would you go to set up your profile or whatever? And then they would point, and then they would either get it right or they would get it wrong, right? So these are paper prototypes. You want paper prototype screens for all of your screens, and you want the wireframes for all of your screens again. So here is exactly what we're looking for. Be sure to take a look at those examples in the course announcements, and definitely read those announcements. And the most important thing is to let me know if you have any questions. But this is all fair game for Sunday, so this is all due Sunday, and it's really important we get this done for Sunday, because we move right into user testing next week. So it's really, really, but this is the foundation of success for the rest of this portion of this project. So let's get this down, let's get this set. And of course, as I said, the most important thing is let me know if you have any questions. All right, great. Thank you very much.